All right. We are all so excited to be back doing notes again. I can tell by the looks on all of your faces. Okay, so before we get into the new stuff, which is looking at the role of b in y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Kendra? Yep.
The smaller a is the wider the
Good. So the smaller the absolute value of a is, the wider it is. Good. What else? Lydia? Yes, you can go get your binder in the media center. Okay, what else? What else about a? So if the smaller the absolute value of a is, the wider it is, meaning the wider it opens, then that means conversely that what? The bigger a is, the more narrow it is. Okay, so the bigger the absolute value of a, the more narrow. Okay? The parabola. Okay? What else? Ashley.
If a is positive, the parabola has a minimum vertex, and if it's negative, it has a maximum vertex.
Cool. Oh, we haven't been doing. So everybody give everybody who just participated a round of applause. Okay, so if a is positive, it opens up, and the vertex is a minimum, which we're going to need today. And if a is negative, it opens down, and the vertex is a maximum. Okay, next, role of C. So we've done this before. This should just be a really quick review. What about C? What does C do? Man, everybody's dead today. Stacy? That's good. Okay, so it's the y-intercept. I have been informed that a lot of them, just took a chemistry test and are not feeling so hot about it. You're in luck. You get to do math now. Okay, what else? So C is the y-intercept. What else? So, had to do with shifting.
Oh, it shifts the graph.
Good. Which way, Akashni? Left, right, up, or down?
Up or down.
That's good. Everybody give it up for Akashni. Maybe that's what second period's deal was, too. They all looked dead when they came in. And were kind of like you guys. But second period. Okay, now let's look at B. All right, so let's go to our graph. Oh, you know what? I just realized. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the role of B. Okay. So A, again, we just discussed what A does. We did C. C is shifting up and down. What about B? What do we think B does? There's one area that we haven't really covered as far as all of this. Jared. Okay, that's good. So it moves it right or left. Everybody give it up for Jared. Okay, so right now I have a B of 0. If I were to change this to, I don't know, positive 2, where do we think the graph is going to go? So Jared is right. It shifts it left or right. If I change it from 0 to positive 2, it's going to shift the graph where? What? Hey, say what? Right. To the right, and how many?
2.
Okay, so the guess is that it's going to shift to the right 2 units. Okay, so everybody pay attention. Did it shift to the right 2? Where did it go? What? Oh, okay, I have to say this on camera. Jonah just said, why can't it just go to the right? Why can't it just go to the right? I know. Okay. Okay, so then, by that logic, if I put in negative 2 for B, where's it going to go now? Whoops, negative 2, sorry. Okay, so it shifted. We're looking in the left, right only. Okay, so okay, they are all defeated. Their chemistry test killed them. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so it's not. Okay, maybe not. It's not the vertex. We're measuring. It's the first two.
Okay.
I don't even know.
Okay.
Like the two red dots, not the vertex.
Oh yeah, right. True. Yes. What about it?
Those move.
They do. True.
Two.
The x-intercepts. That's what. It might be the x-intercept. So that would mean that if I change it to -4, it's +4. Okay, there's a good relationship maybe. But that's if we don't have 0 in SC. Now what happens if we have like 10? Okay, so let's go back. Check this out. Everybody watch this. This is kind of neat looking. Oops, let's go back to 0 first. You will, I promise. Okay, here we go. Check it out. Look at the shape that it goes in. It does kind of go in a parabola. Everybody see that?
One dot is staying the same.
The 0? That makes sense. Why does it make sense that that one dot stays the same? What does that one? The C is 0. Okay, so remember I told you before that, so we established that the role of B is that it shifts the graph left or right, but it doesn't, if you make it a +2, it doesn't shift it 2 to the right. It actually shifts it 1 to the left. So remember, I gave you a relationship a couple of days ago to make graphing easier. That's where this relationship comes from. Okay, so remember we said to find the x-coordinate of the vertex, we got -b/2a, right? So if you look, it's -b, because it's in the opposite direction we saw by plugging in some numbers. It shifts in the opposite direction of what you would think it would shift in. And if you divide it by 2, again, that's how many units it is. Does that make sense? So, like, again, if we were to put in 2 in for the b, I'm going to ignore the a for a minute, but 2 in for the b, what's -2 divided by 2? -1. It shifted -1, right? The a is another coefficient that we talked about that is there. It has a relationship to the x-coordinate of the vertex, but as far as the shifting left and right portion, that's where the -1/2 comes in. Okay? So this represents the x-coordinate of the vertex, and it also represents, make sure you can see that, represents the axis of symmetry. Would you all agree, remember that when we were graphing these before, the axis of symmetry goes right through the vertex? Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can use this. This also represents the equation of the axis of symmetry. We're going to need that for today. Okay? So let's go through some examples. I actually only have 2 examples, and they're actually relatively easy.
Okay. Are both the examples A, B, C, and
That they are. So you can look at this as glass half empty or glass half full. The glass half full is that we only have 2 examples. The glass half empty is that we have 2 with 4 sections. Okay, so here we go. But you guys will see how easy this is. All right. For each function we want to, A, determine the equation of the axis of symmetry, B, determine the coordinates of the vertex, and C, tell whether the function has a maximum or minimum, and then sketch it. So, we have actually done all this before. This is not really anything new. We're going to start by labeling our coefficients. Okay, we just said on the last page, the axis of symmetry is what? X equals what?
-b/2a.
Cool. So if I plug in my b and a into this, I get what?
-4.
Over 2 times
Yeah.
1, which when you divide all of that, you get what? -2. So your equation is x equals -2. Then,
Wait, +4.
oh, yep, thank you. -4, which is +4. Thank you for that. Okay, so then the vertex, what did we do before? We've done this before. What did we do with this x-coordinate to find the y-coordinate of the vertex? Plug it in to what? It's -5. Okay, so how do I find the y that goes along with this x? Plug this into x, into this equation that we were given to start out with. So we get 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 5. 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 8 is -4. And -4 minus 5 is negative 9. Okay, so the x-coordinate of the vertex is 2, so the vertex is positive 2, comma, negative 9. Okay, C. Tell whether the function has a maximum or a minimum. How do we figure that out again? Okay, so our A is a positive 1. So does that mean that the parabola opens up or down? Up, which means that you have a very low point or a very high point? Low point. So this has a minimum. So again, it opens up like this, and that's the vertex, and that means it has a very low point or a minimum. Okay, last piece is to sketch this. So you see how fast they go?
So fast.
So fast, I know. Jade is turning around. She is now glass halfway. Okay, here we go. So here we go. Remember that to graph, we start with the vertex. Our vertex is 2, negative 9. So we go right 2, down 3, 6, 9. Okay, does anybody remember what we do from there? Okay, how do we, good. So Stacy said up 1 over 1. How do you know that that's what we're supposed to do? That's the rule. So do I just go up like that? So I have 2 and I make a line through them?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Why not?
Okay, so our A value is positive 1. So what that means is we go from the vertex, we go up 1 and out 1 each. And those are our 2 points. 2 other points. Remember, we need 3, at least 3 to draw this parabola. Oops, you can't see that, sorry. Okay, so again, from the vertex you go up or down whatever A is. In this case, A is 1, and then out 1 each. Questions? Yes, Kendra?
How did you know it was minimum again?
Because, okay, so this parabola opens upward, right? Okay, so is this point so these arrows mean that it goes up infinitely in the positive direction. Do we have a really low point on the graph or a really high point? Does that make sense? Okay. Other questions? Last example. Okay. Same exact set of steps. So, right now, I can just, what did we do first on the last problem? Circle things. We circled A, B, and C. So I can just, so A is negative 12, B negative 10, and C. Oh, good. You've got to put it in descending order. Good. What is descending order? Somebody put it in descending order for me.
Negative 3x squared
Okay.
minus 12x.
Okay. So now is when we can circle A, B, C. Okay. So part A, let me get my sheet here. Part A was the equation of the axis of symmetry. So can somebody set that up for me? Jake.
12 over 2 negative 3.
Good. Okay, so then negative 12 is positive 12 over negative 6, which comes out to how much? Negative 2. So the equation of the axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. Then we need to find the vertex. Well, we have half of the vertex. How do we find the other half? Plugging it back in. So y equals negative 3x squared minus 12x minus 10. So we're plugging that negative 2 in here. Squared minus 12 times negative 2 minus 10. All right, so here we go. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 3 is... Oh, okay. Easy, girls. Easy.
That's okay, fine.
Okay. Everybody focus, focus. I know math is one of those subjects that gets us all riled up, but... Jake.
Okay, so it would be a positive 4.
Yep.
Times a negative 3, so you get negative 12.
Uh-huh. This comes...
Plus 24.
Good.
Minus 10.
Good.
And then
go ahead.
2.
Good. 2. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. So the vertex is at negative 2, positive 2. All right? C is tell whether it has a maximum or a minimum. Well, this one has a negative 3 for A, which means it opens up or down. Down. So does that mean it has a maximum or a minimum? A maximum. Good. Okay. So the last step is to graph. So let's see, -2, +2. Make sure you all can see that. All right, somebody start me out in graphing this. What is the first point that I graph? -2, 2. So I go left 2, up 2. That's the vertex. Okay, then from there, if our A is -3, what do we do? Hannah. Perfect. Okay, so she said down 3 and then to the right and left 1 each, and put a curve through those. Question, Sonia.
May I ask why we go down?
Yeah, so because our A is -3, that's where that comes from. That tells you how many to go up or down. Good question. Other questions? That was not too painful. Notes are done. Yay. Okay, there's the homework. Go ahead and start on it.